Excellent. All right. So, if you've only watched it on the YouTubes, then you are not 100% up to date because we have, since then, completed our Duna mission. But if you did watch the stream last week, then you're there. In any case, it doesn't matter. We're going to be starting a fresh new mission. What has gone on before is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. And we are planning on making a research station around the moon. This is something I haven't done before. I've set up space stations around Kerbal before. That's fine. But I want to do one around the moon. So, what is our goal? Our goal is to put a station up there with a research lab, such that we can have missions go down, drop onto the moon, run a bunch of experiments there in a fresh new biome, then fly back up, meet the space station, and put the science into the science lab where you can churn it for even more science points. It's going to make a big science generating engine. The reason we're not just talking about landing with the science bay is that it's extraordinarily heavy. We can take a look at it actually. This thing here, the mobile processing lab, is 3.5 tons. It's very heavy. Very heavy. I mean, it's not impossible. You can do the landings, but we want to really be able to do a lot of repeated landings. We want to leave this in orbit and do that. Additionally, we would like to set up a fuel refining pair here so that the ship that goes down and up and down and up can refill itself on there. So there might be two ships, I don't know, because you might have a little fuel ship that goes down to the moon in a place where there's a fuel resource, gets as much of it as possible, and then brings it back up to the space station, whereupon the science ship can go and reload itself and do that. So those are going to be two sort of separate submissions. First step will be to get this bad boy in orbit, though. So we'll see how it goes. Bob would disagree about the completed part. Oh, poor Bob. Poor Bob. Slight spoiler for the Duna mission. Slight spoiler. So, we didn't tell Bob that this was a one-way trip. So Bob's on Duna forever. Well, maybe we'll mount a rescue at some point. Oh my god, it's still doing the thing. I think it's going to do the thing where I think it just killed Bob again. Okay, it didn't kill Bob. I don't know why it just exited. This test build has a weird thing where sometimes I can't go back to the space station properly. Like, I didn't click anything. But it didn't have the pop-up. I don't know. Weird things are going on. Anyway, that's that. So this first mission, Kravek with the 1-year Twitchiversary. Thank you very much, Kravek. We also got a resub by 2Drunk2 before that. And Kingpin Mick as well. And Bearden, thank you very much for the new sub. I know I've been missing a few probably. Maybe during the break, we'll see. Bob's not dead, apparently. Still there. All right, so yeah, this thing is going to be the heaviest part of our ship. And I guess what I'll do is I'll make this the central component. And this is going to be the heaviest part of our space station, the most intense thing to send to the moon. It's a very, very heavy thing. We have no mods because we're playing on 1.2. Mods have not been updated for 1.2, at least not as a whole. So we have no delta V or thrust weight calculations available to ourselves, which is a wee bit scary. And this thing needs a lot of power. Oh! Oh! Oh, look! There's a new menu! They updated the menu since the last time we played. 1.2 is still being developed, so things are still changing. I love that. Thank you for putting communication in its own category. Oh, that is so much better. Ground. Oh, that's great! Payload. Couplings. Thank you, squad, for finally updating the basic categories. I'm so happy. All right, so we've got our Gigantor XL arrays. And, I mean, probably we only need the pair. This generates a lot of power. Can we get stats as to how much power the bay uses at full functionality? Wait, experience management. Onboard testing facilities, a piece of paper with a pencil to certify astronauts for more advanced tasks, can be used to increase Kerbal levels without returning KSC. Oh, this is also the training lab now. Fantastic. It's got KerbNet access with terrain and biome scanning, and then the science lab as well. It doesn't say how much power it uses. But it's probably a lot. We also want the survey scanner to scan for resources. We're going to need that. We're going to need a big-ass battery as well. Do we have a big-ass battery? No. I mean, that's pretty big, but not as large as we'd want. How are we actually going to design this to look? Obviously, we also need docking bays and all kinds of different things like that. Where's this? Like, we want just structural category at this point. We don't block the doors. We need to make sure that the docking's away from these guys. I mean, I could just put the docking port on top of this. We can make it look cool and do that, but it's kind of unnecessary. So we've got some extra experiments to put in. We've got the docking stuff to put in. We probably need... I mean, we may need to adjust this thing's orbit. I mean, once it's in orbit, we don't have to make any more adjustments. We might want some RCS or reaction control system. Or, sorry, reaction wheels. Science station overdue with rescue craft attached. Yeah, that we could work on that. With the radial attachments, I can't block the doors. But we don't really have to go outside the ships. Like, I'm wondering... if I just do something like that... I mean, this is not anything. It just gives you more attachment places. But maybe we only need 2. Because I need to dock 2 ships to this, and I want to make sure we're not in a position where we're going to smash the solar panels. Or block the doorway here. I think I would like it better. Yeah, let's put out the structural fuselage. This doesn't do anything except sort of stretch things out. If I did this, and then that, and then put, where the hell do you put our docking stuff now? Used to be under what, utilities, I guess. Nope. It's not aerodynamics. Payload. Coupling? Oh, yeah, coupling makes sense. So, do we use full docking ports or the juniors? I guess we'll use the full docking ports and go somewhere like this. But we may want to extend it out a little bit too. But we've got to get this to space as well. So the idea being, like, these solar panels, right? I want to get them out of the way. Do this. We also need... I do want the survey scanner, which does fit quite well on the top here-ish. Really? You can't attach anything right to the end of that? I think that would be... Is it being interfered with by these things? Hold on. You, go back there. And I'm going to take this, move you lower. Now can I attach you to the top? There we go. And what does this look like when it's fully deployed? Yeah, it's a little tight for the docking. It looks, like, most looks good. I just don't like... I don't want to risk smashing into any of our component bits. Maybe I'll go back to going here. Then we've got the little hatch just below to access it. I think the solar panels are going to be far enough off. That should be okay. Now, we will want some extra batteries, too. And maybe, you know what, then I don't need this extendo bit. I can just put you here. That's fine. And, yeah, what I'll do is I'll put some batteries under there. We're going to want a fair amount of it. Batteries are very heavy. Well, there we go. That should be lots of power, especially since we don't have any life support. So what do we think? Something like this? You know, the larger docking port. Well, these are the normal docking ports. They're not the huge ones. I don't think we need mega huge ones. They're not the juniors, though. They're the normal sized ones. They're not quite lined up. That's because they don't click there. Looks somewhat more aligned. Yes, this is our space sim that we were programming. I'm gonna grab just not the XL ones. Just a little bit safer. We're gonna go and down here, where it won't be shaded as much. Just a couple of static solar panels because it helps. And this is gonna need a giant antenna as well, which needs to deploy safely. Well, I mean, obviously at some point, now we could drop it, but I guess there's no, oh, yeah, we do need huge tanks over here because we need something that can grab the fuel that we bring from the surface. So what I think I'm going to do is actually use one of the medium Rockomaxes here, which is going to be overkill to get us to the moon, but we'll have a supply of stuff. We're going to have that. We're going to put in the Terrier engine. Or is it the Poodle? Sorry, it is the Poodle engine. There we go. We're going to have something like that. What about my command and control here? These are all, there's just the small or the normal. They're not the huge reaction wheels. I don't think we can drive with this thing, though. I don't think there's an actual, like, ability to control from this. So presumably we need, somewhere we can drive from. I don't know, actually. Can you drive from here? No, I think the answer is no. So we need something in the pods or a probe core. Either way. can't attach anything to the top of the copula module, can you? Oh, you can. Actually, that looks quite cool. Can you steer from this? Yes, command. There we go. So we can put a pilot in there. It's got a built-in antenna, but it doesn't have, I suspect, the range we want. And it can't transmit science, so no. So, what are we going to do antenna-wise? We could even set this up as a relay system for the future, especially for our ground mission. 15G. Well, we don't need 15G. We could do that. And that seems like it probably will be okay and should all fit within the fairing, which is the next step. What do we think? This is the Moon Station Alpha design. What do you think about that? So we'd want a big decoupler under that, and then we want the fairings, which is under the payload category now. Fair enough. Whoops. Just try not to clip the antenna bit. There we go. So we don't have any monopropellant on here, but we do have the extra reaction wheel, so I think this should be able to steer relatively well. That is a really heavy thing to bring to the moon. This is a lot of weight to bring to the moon itself. We could just send it with a smaller fuel tank and then send a larger fuel tank later as part of the holding tank for the fuel for the other stage. But I don't know, we'll give this a try and see what happens. There's a lot of fairing. Now, I don't have to wrap everything in the fairing. I could just put the fairing up here and then leave the base. Maybe that would be, I don't know, like, I kind of like the idea of dropping the fairing off at some point, but if we did this, and I said, delete fairing, build fairing, and did it this way instead. Right, I guess you got the weight. Now, we can do that. The little antenna sticks out through there, but I don't know if that part's physics enabled. We could do this. It means I keep the base of the fairing with me, but it's a hell of a lot lighter. And everything else is pretty aerodynamic, so that might be better. It is just weird to keep that base. Is there like a weight on that base part? I think the 0.175 tons stays with us. So I don't know what's better. And yes, we could empty the fuel tank, or just have a half tank. Enough to, you know, use this as a propellant, but not actually haul it with all the air. We're going to see. We're going to see what happens with this. So staging-wise, this should be able to get us all the way from Kerbal to the moon and get us into that orbit over there. But we might want to leave some fuel here so that we've got something for our first science mission to do. I don't know. We'll see. So let's say we take off with something like this. Where's my mainsail? Which should be fine because our mainsail's got, yep, good. More than enough thrust for here. Well, I say that. It doesn't have like infinity thrust weight. It'll have good thrust to weight, but not ridiculous thrust weight over here. And now we just need some extra delta V, which is mostly going to be some decouplers. Also, thank you very much, Mighty Rick, for the resub. Who had to come out from lurking. Thank you very much. And Time River Tam as well. Finally caught another stream. Found you just for a long time. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Time. Experiment storage bay. Yeah, probably. You should move the docking ports to the fuel tanks from being safe. You know what? You're right, because that, since we've got this space, this would be the perfect place to put these bad boys here. And apparently I don't need that. I can just put the docking ports directly. Okay, we will do that. Yeah, that seems like a really good idea. I was going to do something else I can't remember. Yeah, the experiment storage bay. I don't know if we need this. Because it lets you quickly collect everything. Well, you know what? This is max data, and we might not have enough data to fit everything in. Enough data space. So you're right, we might want to keep the experiments around. So can I mount that way? Yep, and then this fairing, edit fairing. There we go. Oh, these are the strutted fairing bits? Yeah, that looks great. I love the automated strutting. It's sticking out a little bit, but that's probably okay. Okay, so decoupling, radial decoupler up here. It's probably going to be a little extreme with the asparagusing, but again, I don't have any delta V stats. Well, again, I don't think we'll asparagus, but obviously we will have the fuel flow coming in there, and then we need to strut our stuff. I'm going to go and put some more. There's no such thing as too many struts, right? Aerodynamics, this nose cone, boom, like that, and support that way. And I don't think we need this, but I'll go ahead and throw one of those as well. I suspect this will be a ridiculous amount of delta V to get us to the moon, but I'm not sure. And again, I know that we're dealing with some very, very, very heavy payload stuff on the top. So, I don't know. It looks fast! Vroom, vroom. Okay, let's fix all of our staging here. We're going to do that, and then we're going to get all of our engines. Boom. So you get all the engines going at the same time. Then we drop those side boosters, or start the engines, decouple from the ground. At some point we pop off our boosters. At some point we will pop off the clamshell. Well, it's not a clamshell, but you know, whatever. And we're going to do this. So 3 real stages. Does this work? I don't know. RCS to help it steer before dropping a huge tank. Yeah, the tanks will have gimbling though, so I think that's going to be okay. We might want some fins, especially on the middle stage because it's quite long. Our ability to gimbal is still pretty huge, so we'll have a fair amount of control authority, but it might be a good idea to have a little bit more. I would like to fix this strut here, so it's not going through my fin. How do I select? There it is. There we are. Oh yeah, I was going to do that thing where it doesn't actually strut the way that I want. The symmetry is broken. I don't know why it does that sometimes. I don't really need this. There we go. Just a little bit. And they're not like controllable aerodynamics. They're just to give us a little bit of something, something. I think it's going to be fine. Really think you want RCS? Maybe. It depends on whether or not... If this stage is still present when we're in space, then yes, the turning will suck. But I'm expecting we don't really need it. And this stage should have plenty of delta V for there, but I don't know. If we're going to do any RCS, I'd put it on the back, right over here. I suppose there's no harm in throwing some down, right? That's under what? Command and control? And just the inline RCS ports. And 4-way symmetry down there. Just a little something extra. You can't see them, they're hidden there, but we do have the 4 on that tip. And we'll just use that so we can steer our butt end maybe a little bit. And we've got some amount of RCS in some of these. Not that one. What about over here? Monopropellant. Yeah, very little. Wow. Very, very little. We might want just some tiny little monopropellant tanks just now near the bottom as well. There we are. Just to help with that. I don't know. We'll see. What could possibly go wrong? Lights? You're right. We need lights so that we can find ourselves in the darkness. That's still under utility? Got the convertertrons and things like that. Yeah. Ladders, different things. Especially near the docking ports, actually. What I want is a light shining outwards. Excellent. And I want you to be green. Oops. Didn't want to move you. Okay, you're still pointing the right way. Excellent. You're going to be a green light. I don't remember if that changes the light of the lens or just the light that it glows. I feel like it's only the light that glows out that changes the color. We'll do that. Put another one here and have that one be, I don't know, red. Like both sides. Do that, and then we'll throw some white lights Ta-da-da. Good. There. And that'll be good enough. There we are. We all lit up. Cheers. Yeah, you can change the color. I don't remember if it's visible in the text or not in the vanilla game, but it definitely changes the actual glow on like the surface. It's actually very funky. Let's just try. Boom. Am I playing stock? Yeah. Oh. You actually need some people in there. Yeah. We still have the problem that we don't actually have experienced scientists here. But we may not bring them with us on the first go. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to throw Jebediah in the copula module so you can steer this. I mean, I don't know. Whoever else are we going to bring the scientist? We need to do a scientist experience run. We need to get a space bus going on, guys. That's what we need to do. The reason is we need to get people, we need to get a bunch of scientists with experience points. So let's get a space bus. So there's going to be you. And then, so where would they have put the extra crew bits now? Is it still in here? Yes, hitchhiker module. Excellent. We're going to do that. We're also going to check, 1 second, space bus. Can we hire more scientists? No, they haven't refreshed this list, or it's just all the old one. Can I just like hire a bunch of these and you'll get some scientists in for me? Ooh, next hire. Costs going up a lot. Ah, we're almost broke. Shit. I forgot that it goes up like exponentially. Okay, that's fine. We might need more batteries. We'll take a look. This has got to come back to the ground. This doesn't need very much power or very many batteries. Just a little, oops. So what's going on here is that for our scientists to be able to process science at an appreciable rate, they need to be experienced. So this is something that's going to fly. Ah, where's the heat? Oh, thermal maybe. There it is. Okay, new category, excellent. This is going to do a flyby of the moon, temporarily leave the solar system, then re-land on Kerbal. Or not the solar system, just the Kerbal system. And then re-land on Kerbal. That should get everyone to level 2. And we're going to fill this with scientists. I guess, yeah, we could just do a smaller space bus then. That'll be cheaper. That'll be okay. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. There. So, we're going to do this. It's going to bring 7 people and try to give them a whole bunch of experience points. So you need the heat shield down there. You need... Do you have a parachute category? No, it's still under that here. Yep. Okay. You're going to get a big parachute. We're going to give you a couple of drogue chutes for some slowdown. And then we are going to get a couple more big chutes. There we are. And that's all there. Excellent. Okay. So then we get a decoupler. There. Then we get a fuel tank that's just going to put us out around the solar system. Maybe I'll go with this. It's going to be fine. Get the poodle on there. Excellent. Then get our decoupler again. Get an ascent stage. 1, 2, Whoops. There you go. What's the weight? Yeah, there's a lot of fuel, so it'll need to be a main sail. And then we don't need much more delta V after this, but I still think we're going to need a wee bit of it. So I'm going to get just a tiny bit. It's like another pair of orange tanks over here. This should be plenty, I hope. Once we get to space, the maneuver is going to be pretty light. Do I need more engines on here? Yeah, but we don't need any more mainsails, but we'll put a couple of those bad boys on there. The skipper engines. What do we need? We need this. We need the fuel lines. We need some struts. There. And another pair to eliminate some wobble. Just like that. I'll put some little fins just so that it helps a little bit. Yeah, and again, I'm putting those bits in an annoying spot. You know what, we don't even need you, but there we go. Do that. Like this. We need a support like that. Our staging will be all engines, then detach, then pop those off, then stage that, and then at some point we'll come back and land. We don't have any batteries, but that's fine. We've got just a few little baby solar panels. Maybe I'll throw some real solar panels on there too. What the hell? Just in case. We need very little power, but it would be annoying. There, I'm just gonna go and just drop a couple over here too, just to make sure, I don't know, no weirdness. Plus, actually, these won't work if we're nose on or tail on the sun. Although this is a manned mission, so we can always EVA and push things around, and that should be okay. All right, so this is the plan. Remember, see if there's relevant missions to the space bus. Yeah. So the idea is to do this just to get a whole bunch of experience for our Kerbals. That's it. 69,000 bucks. We could probably make this a lot lighter. I'm sure this is going to be way overkill for a Delta V. How sure am I, though? Not that sure. God, I want my mods back!